Senator John Thune, good day. This is a petition I am submitting to you, as well as Senator Rick Scott and Senator Ashley Moody of the great state of Florida, where I am a resident. The purpose of this petition is to request removal of the filibuster in the United States Senate. It is no longer a good thing for our country, and probably has never been a good thing for our country. Yes, I know a petition is an archaic form of submitting something to the House and the Senate, but it was done for many, many decades after the beginning of our country in order to ensure that the voices of the American people were both heard and considered. You know who got rid of the petitions? Yeah, the Democrat Party. Not the Southern Democrats in order to protect slavery, but all the Democrats in order to protect slavery. They called it states' rights, but it protected slavery. They got rid of the petitions being submitted to the House and the Senate. So how did the filibuster get formed? By mistake. In fact, my staff and I, which means me, did some research and could not figure out where the filibuster really got started. But we can tell where the filibuster was used, when it was used, and how it was used. It was used to protect slavery by the Democrat Party again. And it was also used by the Democrat Party after the Civil War to prevent Reconstruction bills. You know, those bills that were being created by the Republicans in order to help freed slaves? Yeah, the Democrats didn't want any of that, as well as supporting the KKK. Remember that? Well, guess what? The Democrats are also the one that stopped the 60-vote majority needed to get justices approved. Not the Supreme Court justice. Yeah, I know. Senator Harry Reid got the justices to be approved just by a simple majority a few decades ago. And then Senator McConnell got that to be done for the Supreme Court justices. Yes, I know the Democrats got somebody on the Supreme Court, which was questionable, who is questionable as far as I'm concerned. But we, the Republicans, also got some decent people onto the Supreme Court. Actually, I like all the ones that got there. I know that some of them bothered Trump a lot, but I like them. So let's get back to the petition. Getting rid of the filibuster is just getting rid of something that is an archaic tool being used by a minority. Yes, minorityism is a real thing. To be used by a minority to stop the majority from getting done what it is supposed to get done. The Founding Fathers created a wonderful system between the House and the Senate, in which the House gets reelected every 2 years, so if the people's voices change from one direction to another, they can, every 2 years, change out the House. But the Senate, the Founding Fathers set up the Senate to be changed just 1/3 every 2 years. The Senate is more stable than the more volatile House just because of the way the election process occurs for senators. Oh, by the way, for those who don't know, senators were initially elected by the state legislatures, not by the people. That was an amendment to the Constitution early in the 20th century. The United States of America is not supposed to have a king. It is not supposed to have a dictator. It is not supposed to be run by a tyrant. But that is exactly what is happening right now. Whoever is in charge of the minority party in the Senate, if they have more than 40 votes, they control everything. There is no rational reason, no logical reason to allow the minority to have such a big control over the majority. It is tyranny. Senator Thune, stop the tyranny. Now, perhaps a long time ago, meaning more than a few years ago, before President Obama, the filibuster, in your mind, may have been a good thing. It forced negotiation and compromise. The Democrat Party, for the most part, has changed. There are a couple, 3 exceptions to what I'm going to say, but that's it. Most of them following whatever direction they're given by the tyrant in charge. They do not have their own thoughts, apparently. Take a look at what Senator Schatz from Hawaii did. The state that depends so much on air travel for tourism, which is the big deal in Hawaii, said he objected to the resolution by Senator Kennedy with regards to holding back pay for the Senate as long as there's a government shutdown. He objected and he walked out. He didn't even stand there and explain why he objected. We all know he didn't want to be on camera. So his objection stopped the resolution that Senator Kennedy put forth and Senator Marino in order to stop paying senators while the government is shut down. During the time that the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is not getting paid, which includes the people doing TSA and the Coast Guard, big deal around Hawaii, and also FEMA. Hawaii just had a bunch of floods. They got hit by a big storm. FEMA is needed. And then there's the Save America Act. You know, with those very important, very commonsensical, and very supported items that both President Trump and I, and basically everybody else in the country who's an American citizen, is in support of. Protecting the ballot box, protecting children, very important. Why should the minority prevent the majority from passing common sense legislation like that? Well, they know that it'll be the death knell of the Democrat Party. Why? Let's go back to the history about when the filibuster is needed. The filibuster is most powerful when the majority does not have a big majority in the Senate. Many, many times, the majority party, either Republican or Democrat, have had such an overwhelming majority that the filibuster has not been an issue. It's only when the Senate is closely divided, like it has been over the past few decades. Now, Senator Thune, our country is being broken by the Democrats. Our country is being broken by the minority party in our country. Minorityism is replete with examples in history of failed countries, failed organizations. It is not a good thing anymore. You know, back when the minority party was still pro-USA, when the minority party had at least an interest to ensure that our enemies stayed outside of our country and did not kill people inside our country, then maybe the filibuster wasn't as bad as it is right now. And oh, by the way, how the heck did the filibuster start anyway? When our country was founded, both the House and the Senate had the exact same rules. Over time, the Senate made a mistake. As far as I can tell, historians agree that, first of all, nobody really understands how the filibuster got started in the Senate. But number two, they recognize the fact that it could be a mistake that it got started. Well, who used that mistake? Once again, the Democrats used that mistake in order to protect slavery in our country. The Department of Homeland Security, TSA people protect us. The Coast Guard protects us. FEMA helps us out. And Senator Schatz and the rest of the Democrats don't care. The SAVE Act is needed to bring our country back onto the rails. It's off the rails. This voting system that we have is ridiculous. So the filibuster is tyranny on the part of the minority. If the minority was led by people who were pro-America, who were patriotic, who were people that had common sense, no problem. But you know what? It's no longer like that. I don't know if it ever was, but it's no longer like that now. So to save America, Senator Thune and Senator Scott and Senator Moody, we need to get rid of the filibuster. I know that some Republicans signed things in the past, but you know, things change. We have chaos right now in our country. Chaos because of the filibuster. Oh, by the way, I honestly believe that the Senate is going to stay in Republican hands after this 2026 election cycle. So if you're worried that it's going to come back to haunt us, guess what? It won't. But even if it did, it's still, why should the minority control the majority? And let's get some common sense stuff approved. We got rid of the 60 votes needed for Supreme Court justices, which is, you know what, you could almost say is the most powerful thing that the Senate does. And the Senate on the SAVE Act, Save America. We need to stop fraudulent voting going on in our country. We need to stop the mutilation of children. We need to stop the tyranny of the minority, Senator Thune, the tyranny of the minority over the majority in our country. I believe that not getting rid of the filibuster will be a root cause of problems in the future. I don't see how getting rid of the filibuster is going to cause problems in the future. We got rid of the 60 votes needed for justices. Doesn't look like it caused any significant issue to me. The House doesn't have the filibuster. Doesn't look like to have any big problems to me. I think we should just go ahead and get rid of that filibuster and trust in God. So once again, God bless you. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for watching the Honor and Knowledge channel. Goodbye.